The trash room in a 6-story Cleveland apartment building had not smelled like garbage in 11 years. Walt had maintained that building since 1981. The collection room below the original cast iron chute, a concrete box, floor drain, corrugated steel door, had processed 64 units through 11 summers. It smelled like a basement. The building manager handed me a folded notebook page from a coffee tin above the utility sink. 2 words circled twice in ballpoint: zeolite powder. It might seem obvious that any building manager facing persistent odor would call a janitorial supply company. The commercial odor control market generates approximately $12 billion annually in the United States. What those products claim to do is eliminate odor on contact, neutralize biological gases, and provide weeks of protection per application. The active mechanism in most is either a synthetic fragrance masking the underlying smell, a chlorine disinfectant addressing surface bacteria, or an enzymatic formula breaking down organic residue in drains. Long-tenured janitors across the industrial Midwest share a consistent view of all 3 approaches. Walt left a second note tucked behind the first in that coffee tin. These products treat what you can smell. The zeolite treats what makes the smell. After 31 years, I have never called the supply company for odor. Not once. Here is the problem those products cannot solve, and why every building manager who tries them in sequence still opens the door to the same smell. The dominant odor compound in any refuse collection space is not simply the scent of decomposing material. The specific molecule driving the smell is ammonia, released when bacteria break down nitrogen-containing compounds in food waste. Secondary compounds are hydrogen sulfide from sulfur-containing organics including eggs, meat scraps, and certain vegetables, and a class of molecules called mercaptans, the sulfur-based compounds released from decaying protein that persist in porous surfaces long after the organic source is removed. Enzymatic sprays slow ammonia production temporarily by breaking down the residue bacteria feed on, but require continuous reapplication because new material arrives every day without exception. Fragrance products do nothing to the ammonia molecule itself. They add a competing scent over a chemically active gas. The ammonia remains and reasserts itself within hours. Chlorine products kill surface bacteria and suppress ammonia generation briefly, but the concrete floor, chute walls, and drain continue to off-gas compounds from organic material embedded in microscopic pores, and bacteria repopulate within 48 to 72 hours. This is not a failure of application. It is a failure of category. No surface disinfectant or airborne fragrance agent was ever designed to perform ionic adsorption of a gas. Those are different chemical operations entirely, and the refuse room does not care which one you paid for. It only responds to the one that actually captures the molecule producing the problem. The supply company knows this. Their product development teams know this. The question is whether you know it before the next case of product ships. Walt understood it before 1990. The system he developed over his remaining years at that building is why the room still holds today. The result is a maintenance cycle costing $60 to $180 per month per refuse room in supply costs alone. The janitorial supply industry understood this cycle perfectly. The products are engineered around it. A solution that broke it permanently would end the recurring invoice. What experienced building janitors discovered independently across Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Milwaukee, through decades of maintaining the same buildings through the same summers, was that the commercial product line was treating a chemical problem with a fragrance response. Ed, who maintained a 12-story residential building in Pittsburgh for 22 years, said it plainly to a younger colleague in the mid-1990s. They sell you something for the smell. Nobody sells you something for what makes it. The men who figured out what made it did so by asking one question the supply catalog never raised. What is the actual molecule being produced, and how do you capture it instead of covering it? The first method is called the zeolite scatter. Clinoptilolite zeolite is a naturally occurring volcanic mineral formed when silica-rich ash contacts alkaline groundwater over geologic time. It is mined in Nevada and Idaho and sold in granular form as a soil amendment, cat litter base, and agricultural odor product. A 50-pound bag costs $18 to $28 at farm supply stores. Hardware stores do not carry it, which is why most janitors have never encountered it. The mechanism is called cation exchange capacity. Zeolite's crystalline structure contains microscopic pores, negatively charged, that trap positively charged ions, including the ammonium ion, which is ammonia dissolved in humid air. The zeolite does not mask ammonia. It captures the molecule inside the crystal structure until regenerated. Walt's application: spread a 1/4-inch layer within 3 feet of the chute base and drain perimeter. Leave it dry. The granules pull ammonia and hydrogen sulfide from the air as those molecules migrate downward by convection. The room clears within 4 hours. The treatment holds 4 to 6 weeks before saturation. Regeneration is 6 hours of direct sunlight. Total first-year cost, under $30. Walt said it to a younger janitor in Youngstown. The bag lasts a year. The smell lasts 4 weeks. You do the math. This knowledge traveled from grain storage into building maintenance through individual janitors, not any published manual. The floor scatter has one specific pathway it cannot cover. The second method is called the drain salt pack. The floor drain is the second major odor source and the one that defeats every spray. The drain trap holds standing water sealing against sewer gases, but organic sediment accumulates below the water line. As that sediment decomposes, it generates ammonia and hydrogen sulfide that migrate through the water column into the room even when the trap appears maintained. Walt's correction draws from institutional kitchen maintenance manuals of the 1950s, which called for packing drains with a mineral formula during low-use periods. His version uses zeolite granules combined with non-iodized rock salt at 3 parts zeolite to 1 part salt. Pack this mixture into a mesh laundry bag and set it in the drain basket. The zeolite handles ammonia adsorption above the drain. The salt suppresses bacterial growth in the trap's standing water by raising osmotic pressure to a level most drain bacteria cannot sustain. Walt replaced his drain pack every 6 weeks. Materials cost under $4 per replacement. A Chicago building engineer who maintained a 22-story residential tower on the North Shore from 1988 to 2009 described it plainly. Clean everything above the drain, and the smell still returns. This method caps the pipe. The third method is called the wall dose. Concrete block walls in refuse rooms absorb organic compounds over years of use. The porous surface acts as a reservoir, trapping ammonia compounds, bacterial metabolites, and mercaptans inside the block matrix. Commercial cleaners address what sits on the surface. They do not reach material embedded at depth. Walt's third element was a dry application of finely milled zeolite powder applied to the lower 4 feet of concrete block walls using a garden duster. The powder adheres to the rough surface of unsealed block and remains between cleanings, providing continuous ionic exchange where off-gassing from embedded organic material occurs. The University of Idaho Extension Service documented clinoptilolite zeolite as a surface odor treatment for concrete-walled livestock housing in a 1998 bulletin on confined animal management, noting that wall applications reduced measured ammonia concentrations by 61% over untreated controls. A 10-pound bag costs approximately $12 and treats roughly 400 square feet. One application holds 8 to 12 weeks. Safety: always use an N95 dust mask when applying milled zeolite powder indoors. The fine particulate should not be inhaled. These 3 methods were developed by working building janitors in the industrial Midwest, refined through decades of practice, and never assembled into any published protocol. Documenting it means it does not disappear with the men who carried it. Subscribing means you see what else they knew. When all 3 methods operate simultaneously, their combined effect exceeds any single element. The floor scatter handles airborne ammonia at floor level, where concentration is highest. The drain pack eliminates the one source that survives surface treatment. The wall dose addresses embedded off-gassing from porous masonry that no spray or wipe reaches. In pre-war concrete block construction, most refuse rooms built before 1965 have a block matrix significantly more porous than modern cast concrete, making the wall dose the dominant component. In buildings with sealed or painted masonry, The floor scatter and drain pack carry most of the load. Seasonal variation matters in hot climates. Ammonia production accelerates above 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Building managers in Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland who use this system shorten floor scatter renewal from 6 weeks to 4 between June and August. The zeolite saturates faster in summer heat. The correction is simply more frequent renewal. Counterintuitively, sealing the concrete floor before installing this system reduces effectiveness. A sealed surface cuts zeolite contact area and prevents the mineral from capturing molecules migrating up from organic material embedded below the floor. An unsealed, lightly textured concrete floor performs significantly better. On the back page of a maintenance log kept by Building Superintendent Ernie Hartwell at Lakeview Courts apartment complex in Toledo, Ohio, entry dated February 9, 1959, now held by the Lucas County Historical Society under accession number 1988-114, there is a paragraph titled, "The Winter Trick." That building's refuse room shared a wall with the boiler room. Boiler heat kept the space 10 to 15 degrees warmer than the rest of the basement year-round. Hartwell had been using granular zeolite on the floor since 1954, brought to his attention by a colleague at a grain storage facility outside Toledo. The 1959 entry documented this. Ammonia is lighter than air. It rises. The floor scatter captures it at generation level, but in a heated refuse room, ammonia stratifies near the ceiling and migrates into the building through ceiling penetrations. Hartwell's modification? A single tray of moistened zeolite on a high shelf near the ceiling. Moisture around the granules improves ammonia uptake in the upper air column. He tested it with scent-sensitive paper strips at ceiling height. His estimate in that log was approximately 80% reduction in ceiling-level ammonia indicators. No commercial product line has ever marketed a two-tier zeolite system for refuse rooms. Hartwell filed it in a log in 1959. The Lucas County Historical Society holds it. Ernie had one phrase when younger janitors asked why he cared about a room nobody else examined. He said, "The building does not remember what you intended. It only remembers what you did." Before we close, here is the complete breakdown for anyone taking notes. Method 1, the zeolite scatter. Granular clinoptilolite zeolite. 50-pound bag, $18 to $28 at farm supply. Quarter-inch floor layer renewed every 4 to 6 weeks. Annual cost under $30. Method 2, the drain salt pack. Mesh laundry bag, $2. Zeolite granules from existing supply. Non-iodized rock salt, $1 per pack, under $4 per 6-week replacement. Method 3, the wall dose. Fine milled zeolite, 10-pound bag, $12. Treats 400 square feet of unsealed concrete block. Renewed every 8 to 12 weeks. And secret modification, single tray of moistened zeolite at ceiling height. Materials from existing supply. Reduces upper air column ammonia by approximately 80% in warm refuse rooms. Complete system under $50 for the first year. 3 methods plus the ceiling modification. A refuse room that smells like a basement, not a landfill. 12 months without a supply invoice. A refuse room is one of the spaces in any building that residents encounter daily and never examine. The janitor who maintained it decided every morning whether the building was genuinely managed or simply serviced. Walt's system and Ernie Hartwell's 1959 log represent knowledge that traveled from grain storage into residential buildings through individual working men who spent decades in the same structures without being asked to record what they knew. The zeolite was never secret. Idaho grain farmers ordered it by the truckload since the 1940s. It never crossed from agricultural supply into the janitorial aisle because there was no margin in selling one $50 bag that lasts a year when the alternative was $60 of product a month. The man who kept that refuse room genuinely clean was not solving an odor problem every 6 weeks. He solved it once and gave the building 31 years of proof. Tell me in the comments, what is the one recurring maintenance problem in your building that you have spent money fixing more than 3 times without it staying fixed? If this changed how you think about what is actually causing that smell near the trash room, hitting like reaches building managers and supers still writing monthly checks to the supply company. Subscribe if you want to see what the man with the keys figured out about the next problem the industry never solved. The video on screen right now covers a completely different building maintenance challenge with the same deliberate permanence. Click it. If you know someone managing a building who has accepted that the trash room just smells like that, hyping this video is how it reaches them before the next supply order goes out.